In come the reinforcements from that crazy macro. Still has a supply lead. Continuing to force trades. This is not what the Protoss wants. Incoming the stutter step, back and forth, cat and mouse. They're going. And down goes the warp prison. That's a huge loss. Stutter step continuing. Archon's in. Very few High Templars on the field now. They're going to take a lot of damage. We have Marine Heavy Army. He's almost completely transitioned into the heavy, from the Heavy Marauder into the Heavy Marine to counter this heavy charge lot Archon army. Tons of medevacs as well. Has a supply about even. We go to units lost. Demuslim still on the bad end of that, but his units are so cost efficient it doesn't matter. In comes the Doom Drop now towards the main base, taking out tons of infrastructure. There goes one storm, two storms, not hitting too much. Dodging the storms, able to snipe the Nexus. This will be huge if he's able to take this out. And down goes the Nexus. Is he going to pull away? No, going to stay and do damage, try to take out the one lone Colossus by himself. What was he doing? In comes the storms, the warps. It doesn't matter. He's going to continue to trade very efficiently here. Pushing and pushing and pushing the toss back. Now he's going to come drop the natural. Abusing the lack of mobility from this very immobile toss army in disarray. Kind of trying to warp units in, losing them as soon as he's warping them in. Tons of lost minerals. Storms going down. Not doing too much damage though. And, oh man, tons of damage. The Marauders just going to work, and there's the good game. Man. Crazy play by Demuslim. You can see why he's one of the best. Didn't look like he had the lead. Had poor engagements. Got repelled twice by a toss, which would almost mean, you know, impending doom for most players. Didn't even decide to take Ghost. Able to get that fourth base and just keep the pressure, not using a lot of drops, which shows you newer Terran players, you can just push in the middle as long as you're efficient with your trades, as long as you don't suicide your army, and as long as you're constantly doing damage to that toss. You just can't get up that death ball. Terran player able to just increase their macro, and that's how you play against toss. Regardless of the new units, macro will always beat any kind of unit, any kind of strategy. The execution is solid and it just doesn't matter. He even had vision the whole time and it just didn't matter. Those splits on the storms were just phenomenal. And that is how you play against a toss without going crazy on the drops. A lot of people think you have to drop 8 places at once like Flash, but as you can see, he just had really good scouting and he just countered his opponent's composition. And if we can, we should go back to the point where we figured out that they were High Templars on the field. So going into Muslim's vision, he knows nothing. He's going to go for his 10-30 push and get pushed back. There's a 10-30, very common push. Comes in, sees Colossus, starts producing Vikings as any normal Terran would. And just gets ready for that transition. Comes over here to drop, clean up pretty easily. Again, a lot of Terrans get discouraged. Instead, he just keeps macroing, keeps his infrastructure, keeps building units. Doesn't even go Ghost. Assumes it's still Colossus, but chooses to favor the more of the medevacs, less of the Vikings, more of the Marauders. Adapting his build. He sees the Colossus there. Whether he tech switches or not, the AoE damage is there, so the Marauders are going to come in handy as a meat shield. And come on, Demuslim, when do you know? Almost right here, okay, and here's the second push, 15 minutes. So almost 5.5 minutes, which is so long in some of our games. After that failed push at 10:30, he comes in again. Starts attacking the Nexus, and you can almost see his immediate transition. He's going to see the Storm, see the High Templar, see the lack of Colossus on the field, he's going to immediately cut his Viking production and start favoring Marauders and Medivacs. And if you go in his production, look, all Marauders, or mostly Marauders, heavy Medivacs, no more Vikings, getting the upgrades down. Knowing this army's now immobile, dropping his 4th, that's how he won the game. It's important to pick that thing up from replays when you watch, just to understand why players do what they do. Back at this push over here, a lot of players would just go in and try to kill the Nexus. But he knew that he could just go up another base and abuse this mid-game that he kept the Protoss in. He didn't let him get to the death ball. Like he kept trading. Really good way to play. Gonna look at some more Demuslim replays in a little bit.